We are always happy to meet new people. I'm always happy to meet new people. And today we are pleased to welcome, not quite to St. Louis yet because he's not here yet, boots on the ground, but Alex Schimpf, who's the new incoming headmaster for the forming Chesterton Academy of St. Louis. We'll talk more about Chesterton Academy a little bit later. Today we're going to be talking about the domestic church movement and family spirituality. So, Alex, on behalf of all of us here at Covenant Network, almost welcome to town, but thanks for being with us on Roadmap to Heaven this morning.
Thank you. So happy to join you.
So, we were introduced by a mutual friend who said, you got to meet this guy, Alex. We started talking, and immediately, Roadmap to Heaven, we're always talking about practical ways that we can grow in holiness, especially families. So, one of my main goals when we started this show was that when my wife was driving the kids to school in the morning, she could have the radio on, and it would not just be relevant to her, but relevant to the whole family and safe for the whole family. So when you said domestic church movement, alarm bells start going off in my mind, like, okay, we got to get this guy on. We got to talk to him on the air. So tell us a little bit about, it sounds pretty straightforward, but what is the domestic church movement?
Yeah, and I'm glad you mentioned practical, because that's really how I was brought into this. I was one of these guys who just wanted to become a saint by going to my parish and doing the regular Catholic stuff. So when my wife first told me, hey, let's go to this info meeting for this domestic church movement thing, I said, I don't want to do that. I'm happy not joining a cult. Let's try to avoid that. But when I found out about it, that's what it was. It was a practical way for us to achieve what every Catholic family is supposed to achieve, which is being a domestic church, to have a religious mission from God that you execute. So when I found out about it, then a lot of my obstacles were overcome. How I would describe it, it's just bringing some accountability, formation, and support to basic Catholic practices. So I joke about it being a cult, but it really isn't. We don't make any religious promises to anyone. There's no special hat or handshake. But what we do is we commit to a certain set of basic Catholic practices. And there are, I believe, 7 of them. Daily personal prayer, daily reading of the sacred scriptures, daily prayer as a couple, daily family prayer. Now, if you don't have children, that's the one you get to cheat on. Your couple prayer and your family prayer can be the same thing. Having a rule of life, and I'll talk about what that is in a second, drafted by you and your spouse, again, not given to you by anyone else. Trying to make a yearly retreat as a couple or as a family. Seems like I might be forgetting one. How many is that? I hope you were keeping track.
I don't do math this early in the morning.
Okay,
it's not good for any of us involved.
Right. And then finally, it's not one of our 7 practices we commit to, but we also, for support in those practices, we meet monthly with a group of other couples and a Catholic priest. And we call that our circle, where we just share joys and sorrows together. We pray together. We report on the fruits and difficulties of doing these practices, and then Father can be there to interject and guide us and give us some formation. So I want to say at the beginning, again, I didn't get into this because I was looking to do something weird, but my wife and I recognized fundamentally that we were flakes. All right. Like, we would start praying the rosary as a family, and we would be great for 3 months. And then things would get busy, and we would let the whole thing go. And then it'd be months before we'd pick it back up. So we just had to honestly admit, there are couples out there who do this domestic church thing perfectly without any support. That's not us. We need the shame of looking at another couple once a month and saying, hey, we didn't quite get family prayer done. And we found that God brought a lot of grace through that. So that's our story in a nutshell.
I love it because, nothing that you're saying is new, but it is all good, and it's good to have that support structure. I'm thinking of how often do we do interviews here at Covenant Network and on Roadmap to Heaven every day. And yet today, as we're getting ready for our interview with you, and for those of you listening on the radio, we're connected via Zoom right now so that we can see one another for the interview. And we actually will make this video available on our YouTube page and on our social media. We'll share that with you later. But as we're getting set up, and all right, are we ready to interview Alex? Yes, we're ready. And we do this every day. And yet I'm like, I can't hear him. What is it? I didn't plug the cable in. Something that you have to do every time you have a microphone or a connection to do an interview, you have to plug the cable. And luckily there was someone here to say, Adam, Plug the cable in. Okay, got it. Check. So, I mean, that is amazing to have that support network, and humbling to hear that we're not the only family out there that needs someone to help remind them, like, hey, do all of these good things for your family to grow in holiness. And by the way, let's do them together so that we have even more fun with them.
Exactly. Yeah. But my favorite line, and my background is in philosophy, and I love Aristotle best. We call him Saint Aristotle. I know that's a hilarious joke no one gets, but he's got this line: with others, we are more able to think and act. And I have found that to be so experientially true in my life, whether it's working out, whether it's studying, and then finally, even your spirituality and prayer in a family. You band together with other families, and suddenly the impossible becomes possible through that. Well, through our social nature as human persons.
Yeah, I'm thinking immediately of our family, and it's been a while since we've gotten to all go on retreat at the same time. I don't think we've ever actually done that with all of the kids that we have now. We've done it before we had 5 kids. But it doesn't have to necessarily be a formal program that you go to the retreat center and they're presenting everything. You might have a good connection with a priest, whether it's in your parish or your diocese, and you can wrangle up some families and, go rent some cabins somewhere and say, we're going to have a retreat. And, everybody gets their own cabin. Father gets his own cabin. You have mass together. You have talks. You have community time together. It really could take on any number of shapes and forms here.
Oh, I love that. And we had domestic church families do that during the pandemic. I was so edified because as a movement, we arrange some family retreats every summer at different times of the year and evangelization retreats. But when all the retreat centers shut down, there were some circles that were just such hard chargers. They said, well, exactly like you said, Father, if we just rent these cabins for a week and will you just come say mass for us and we'll just have a retreat? And they did it. And I thought, man, that's exactly the way we should be as Catholic parents. So we just don't take no for an answer. We get this done. And we can do that. We sometimes forget because so much is done for us as Catholics. And that's great because, again, we've already established I'm a little bit of a slacker. But at the same time, we can show that kind of initiative. We are given the Holy Spirit and confirmation to be able to lead our families in this way, and then further strengthened by the sacrament of marriage. So we really have no excuses, but we just need to humble ourselves to know we need to do this with other people. That's the key.
Perfect. And I can only think of my children who are like, you want us to do what? Are there going to be other kids there, Dad? And when they find out, yes, there are other kids, okay, we're good. Take us anywhere. There's food, there's kids, there's fun, there's outdoors. We are happy to go. Alex, it's been wonderful to speak with you this morning about the domestic church movement. I do want to make real quick mention because people might be saying, wait, hold on, you said Chesterton Academy at the top of the interview. I haven't heard of this one. So tell us just really quickly here about the Chesterton Academy of St. Louis.
Oh, it's fantastic. So I happen to see this job bulletin of this new Catholic high school starting in St. Louis. And you're from St. Louis, so that's kind of dicey. That's kind of exciting. St. Louis has a lot of high schools. So I originally went and looked at it kind of like you might stop to watch a house fire or a car accident. But then I looked at the curriculum and I fell in love. Daily Mass is not just optional, it's a part of the formation. It is a requirement. Thought, well, okay, that's pretty good because I go to daily Mass and I really want a job that provides for that. And then I looked deeper in the curriculum and was astounded. It has both intellectual formation, but especially effective formation of the heart. So you've got what you might expect: 4 years of theology, history, humanities, but also 4 years of philosophy, 4 years of Latin. So you're thinking, okay, this is an incredibly intellectually formative school. But there are also 4 years of music and choir, 4 years of art, and 4 years of drama, right? Every student is going to be in a play. So it's really forming the emotions as well. So once I saw this curriculum, I kind of just had to be involved. And I knew it was going to be a wild adventure. Again, you're starting a high school. You have to find a location. You have to convince some students to join you and some teachers. But I knew this is worth it because I had just never seen a curriculum so strong. And I thought, if I ever started a high school, this is exactly the curriculum I would put in place, but they're giving it to me in a box. And I like this. Again, I'm a slacker. Tell me what to do and I will do it. I will shut up and color when the picture is beautiful. So I am so excited about Chesterton Academy.
Excellent. Well, friends, for more information on that, the website, Alex, is?
Wow, Chesterton Academy, St. Louis. Just search that in Google.
All
You
right,
should
we'll put
tell me
that
I
out
need
there,
to
and we'll
Google
put
that.
the link in the description today. We'll save you a little bit of homework here. See, we have a catequiz segment where normally we ask catechetical quiz questions, but as the new headmaster, we might just start throwing all of these St. Louis questions at you. What is toasted ravioli? What is frozen custard? And where do you go for that when you're in town? But
See.
we'll spare you that today. Alex, we want to thank you for being with us. We do need to take a break. We're past time on a break here on Roadmap to Heaven, and we look forward to having you back with us. Everybody else, we got more Roadmap to Heaven in store. Stay tuned.